didn't know, your ass better call somebody.
You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah.
Now, let's meet the host. Kyle Gagliardi.
The face that runs the place.
Jim Tucker. And Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and one of my co-hosts is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Chucky!
What's going on, Kyle? It's been a couple weeks, but we've got a full house tonight. We are joined by Erica Marini at Erica_0328. Erica, sup, dog?
Sup, dog? Look at the Vogus boys in the
It
chat.
wouldn't be an OTM episode without Erica reacting to the comments before they're even pulled up onto the screen.
Can't help it.
Hey, Dirk.
Erica, it's been a few weeks. I haven't talked to you. How the hell are you doing?
I'm great. There's been some activity. I don't really know what I mean by that. I don't know. Last week was a crazy week, which culminated in a live wrestling event on Sunday. Yes. But I'm back.
Which one was that?
That was Beyond Wrestling, American Rana.
Okay.
Eddie was there and also got in a fight with some young kid at that as well. So it's just seems to be the trend.
Eddie being Eddie, I guess. Tuck, I believe
Eddie
school
doing
started
Eddie.
for you this week. How's things going over there?
Haven't thrown any kids out yet.
I feel like it just ended.
We're hitting the reset button. That's the theme this year. Reset, refresh. Kids are good. Classes are going all right. We're laying it down, and I have to teach one class tomorrow before I go to the big cross country meet. So the week has flown by, but so far so good. It's been a good year.
You all caught up on wrestling, or is there some things you missed out on this week?
I didn't get NXT, but that's low priority.
That's fair.
I've got everything else. I really care about AEW and WWE. I really care about WWE lately.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been able to find time to, if not current, pretty close. So yeah, it's been good.
That's good. Erica, where are you at this week? You all caught up?
Definitely Raw, definitely Dynamite. I forget if I watched NXT, but
Hey, it doesn't matter.
I don't think I
talking...
did. I didn't.
Yeah, that's fair. We're only talking about Monday Night Raw and AEW this week. So
we're talking about where the big boys play.
It's right.
Oh, wait, that's WCW. The Jays.
Oh, shit. Well, yeah, pretty relevant, I would say, to the AEW conversations we're going to be having. But Dirk Vogus is saying, hey, Erica, did you get paid for your vacation time off?
I came with a list of demands, Mr. Vogus, and they've been met. So, yes.
Well, and how many episodes did it take for her to actually join? I mean, it just... What episode? With 80, 70, something like that?
It was around there, but I think I started negotiating with Erica maybe around episode 30. Erica, does that sound about accurate?
I don't know time.
From day one, we started building the Underwriter. It took us about 80 episodes to get it right. So worth it, but lengthy.
Good things come to those who wait.
I was literally going to say that, Erica. So great minds think alike. But yeah, we're going to be talking Monday Night Raw and AEW this evening. But before we get into all that good talk, we got to remind the listeners to go check out our merchandise on the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. We are only 10 days away now from All Out. So make sure you go to our website, get yourself a Bryan Danielson appreciation shirt because he will be fighting Chris Jericho at All Out, and I definitely will be wearing that shirt to All Out. I got to represent OTM, and you can represent if you are attending, like our MVM, Ryan Matthews. Just go to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. Guys, we probably should get some new additions in there. We're coming up to fall time.
I've
what
got
do we think? What do you got?
A Chris Jericho lion heart shirt. It's a heart, but it's a lion's head in the shape of a heart.
Oh, I thought you were just going to put lion words in the heart.
And you give it,
And
you
it
give him
has
like
Jericho
you give him
hair.
the Jericho hair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would I
and
buy
like
that?
a
That's not a
Fozzie, and
copyright.
like a Fozzie leather like spiked jacket or something.
People
Yeah.
get it. People would get that, and we wouldn't get sued, right?
No,
No.
I feel like no.
If I tried a play on words with wiffle ball, I was all elite wiffle 2 years ago, and I had an AEW custom hat, and they didn't flag me, and I used the AEW logo. So if they're watching right now, I'm sorry.
Use a logo that may have been confused for the AEW logo.
Right,
I don't know what the statute of limitations is. Yeah, let's not.
Neither do I, but yeah.
Let's get copyrighted.
Hey, here we go. Starting off hot with the copyright, because that seems to happen every time on YouTube still, Tuck. I don't know what it is about our intros. It's always in like Afghanistan, Germany, and like they're not going to be able to listen to the On the Mark Wrestling.
Well, they're big fans of the Afghanistan wrestling entertainment, so they think it's competition.
Makes sense. Makes
AWE.
Aw.
I missed out on that show this week, I guess. But so let's just start off with Monday Night Raw then. Next week will be a big show, by the way. We have strictly WWE Clash at the Castle. Castle.
Yeah,
I can't even
it.
talk.
Yep,
Castle.
that's what
A lot
they
of C's
Castle.
going on there. And then
I've heard
AEW All Out. So we have a big show next week, guys, and it's going to be strictly predictions. Erica, I'm warning you now because you get very confused.
Wait, are we doing it now? Are we predicting now?
That happened.
No?
That happens almost every prediction show.
Wait, are we
Every
doing this
single-
now? Yes.
We will be doing that next Thursday. So
I'll be ready.
There's your heads up right
My
there. 'Cause
time.
We have 2 shows, but let's go into Monday Night Raw then, because it started off with a brawl between Seth Rollins and Riddle, and then we eventually saw Trish Stratus make her return to Monday Night Raw in her home country of Canada, looking tremendous as always. And when she got to talk to the crowd a little bit, I kind of got the vibe, Tuck, that maybe Trish Stratus wants to get back in the ring. Am I alone on that take, or are you feeling it as well?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the classic kind of like leaving the door open vibe. Doesn't mean that she wants to be here for the next 8 years, but we're closer to WrestleMania than we were 2 weeks ago. Like every day we have is closer to Mania season in the Rumble. So yeah, I'm here for it. And in that women's division, I think wouldn't anyone want to be in that women's division, with all the talent. So
It's really hot right now too, ever since Bayley and her faction kind of took over Monday Night Raw, and we're seeing a couple call-ups here and there. Erica, what are your thoughts on Trish Stratus potentially getting back in the ring? Are you here for it?
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that same vibe too. And I don't know if was I the only one that like when it was Bayley talking her talk to Trish, and then I wanted like Sasha's music to hit so bad. Then I'm glad it didn't, but like I still have that Sasha Trish dream in my mind, as I'm sure everyone else does. So I kind of don't know if I was reading between the lines on that one or sort of reading into it, but she might not want to be here the next 8 years, but she looks like she easily could be because she was phenomenal.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. And I'm trying to think of the matches she's had with current wrestlers. I know Charlotte Flair, that happened, but I can't really recall off the top of my head who else she squared up against. She might have had a tag. Yeah, she had a tag with Lita, right?
Her and Lita, Sasha Bayley.
It might have been that. That sounds about right. I'm not sure, but I would like to. I think that's a match that I would like to see is Trish versus Sasha Banks. That would probably be at the top of my list. Maybe Bayley seems very obvious. And then there's Bianca Belair. They have a lot of options there, but we got the chat blowing up as well. Robbie Collins, yo, how are you guys? What's going on, Robbie? Dirk Vogus says, I love Trish. I just can't stand the platform boots. Dirk Vogus not feeling that look.
I don't mind. If the boots are the biggest problem, it's not a very big problem.
No, and I think if she were to step back into the ring, she wouldn't miss a step because from what I remember in her matches that she had in the past couple years, they were very solid. But after that, we got the match between Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, or Io Sky. Sorry, I'm still not used to that, which led to Io Sky and Dakota picking up the victory over Asuka and Alexa Bliss. We got to see that stare down between Io and Asuka. The crowd seemed to be into it. I don't know if we've ever seen it in WWE. Actually, I'm pretty sure we haven't. Maybe it's happened overseas, but they gave that match some time. Those ladies delivered, and I felt like all 4 of them got the shine, regardless of the win or loss.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't like Alexa, so I don't really care for this. But
don't
big Mad. We got a big Mad Vogus coming in the chat.
He loves Alexa.
Yeah, big Alexa guy.
I love that EO is kind of bringing the same like NXT energy. Like remember when she was teaming with Zoe Stark and she was just like, I don't like you. Right. And then when she got with like Trish and they were like, oh, Trish, this and that. And then she was like, I don't like you. And I like loved it. Love me, bratty heel EO. Yeah,
it seems like she's, fitting in very well with the main roster. A lot of people, when they get called up from NXT, you don't know how the transition's going to go, but Io Sky on the main roster, it's working. Dakota, everything's clicking. Yeah. Robbie asked, how was Raw? That's what we're talking about, Robbie. So if you haven't caught Monday Night Raw, we're kind of going to recap it here. And the MVM himself, Ryan Matthews, has arrived, watching us live at work. I don't think Matthews has ever retained his MVM tuck, so it's going to be a very interesting night.
No, who is that? Was that Johnny Gargano that had a tough time retaining?
In NXT, you're talking about?
I forget. There was a wrestler that like had a really tough time retaining. Could win it. I can't. The comment will help.
Sasha would definitely be the one. Yeah.
The comment section will help, but I'd like to hear Erica's take on this one. I'd love Erica's current take on Liv Morgan and why she's 100 times worse than Alexa.
I never said anyone was worse than Alexa. That would be your take, Focus. You're the one that doesn't like Liv Morgan and loves Alexa, so maybe you said it backwards.
I did say this off the air to Vogus, and we know what I've said here about Liv Morgan. Not a fan so far of the title run. I don't think she's made to be a champion, or just not yet.
What? That is what?
The moment was cool, and that's what WWE is about, making good moments and that were memorable. And I think that one, the cash-in, was a good moment. But after that, there's, like you kind of were talking about, there's not much substance to Liv Morgan.
Females are on SmackDown. I feel like I haven't seen it in so long. I can't even think. Like
Dana Baszler, Raquel Gonzalez, Shotzi, Aaliyah, Natalia. Wow, okay. I rattled off a lot there.
You did.
Is Lacey Evans' career dead now that Vince is gone?
So what's going on there? Have you heard anything? Because we haven't seen her since Vince was gone.
No, Vince like handled her directly. He was like,
I didn't know that.
With Lacey, they were tight. The Lacey stuff was very Vince driven, and now Vince is no longer there, and neither is Lacey. And I'm not saying NDA hush money stuff, that not at all, but from booking and creative, she was getting heated up, and now I think they're trying. Well, and with a lot of these, with who aside from who has programs now, you got to let them simmer and figure out if you do want to repackage them.
True.
Yeah, so Dakota Kai and Io Sky advance in the tournament. We're going to have a 4-way, I believe, on SmackDown for that second chance opportunity because Toxic Attraction's gotten pulled from the tournament because Gigi got hurt. I don't know the severity of that injury, but it's very unfortunate timing because I thought their debut on SmackDown was very smooth.
Yeah, I thought it went over well. The thing that kind of pisses me off is that the 4 losers get a shot except Alexa and Asuka. That kind of peeves me, but
is it just because they're on that side of the bracket? Is that how they did it? Or was it just all the losers but Asuka and Alexa?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was all the losers because even the team that lost to the team that advanced, even though they got hurt, is in it. They already, so yeah, it's weird.
The one legitimate team that probably could make a run doesn't get a second chance. So
yeah, well,
So yeah, that was a good start to Monday Night Raw. And after that, Kevin Owens continued his dominance over the Raw roster from the last couple weeks. He had a very competitive match with Chad Gable. A lot of people probably assumed this was going to be somewhat of a squash match, but something to note that I got from this is Kevin Owens is using the pop-up powerbomb again as a finisher. He's got the old duct tape KO t-shirt. Yes, and Erica, it feels like the prize fighter NXT Kevin Owens is officially here to stay.
I popped when I saw the duct tape shirt, and I was like, I've always loved that shirt. And then I literally was in the ring, and as the match is going, like I caught myself out loud saying, "This match is great. Like, I loved it. And I said, I love his cannonballs and I love his pop-up power bombs. And then, like, right after, hit a cannonball, hit him with the pop-up power bomb. Isn't that how he got the win?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not a fan of his stunner, but then same as you, to like notice those. And yeah, it feels like he's back and refreshed. Feels tough, like he hit the reset button. And now he's back to where he started, where he came from. And I love
Mikey Wilson is still relevant. He had the original KO duct tape tee. So that's back. There's a lot of shirts that get into your dresser or closet that kind of time out.
Yeah.
Not that one. It's back.
Yeah. Oh, I do have an older Kevin Owens one. It's not the duct tape one, but it's the Fight Owens Fight on the back with just the regular gray KO on the front. He hasn't worn that in a while, so it's close enough. I might have to bring that one back out. Ryan Matthews said, Tuck, the Bloodline tee looks sick on you, by the way, but an OTM hoodie would probably look better.
95 fucking degrees here, Ryan. Hoodie's not very plausible, sir.
Is he just trying to retain the MVM by laying up the ad read right there?
His nose very brown. Yes, sir.
He's saying you look jacked, though.
Well, he ain't wrong. I'm trying.
KO title run. No, everyone title run. Oh, here we go again with Robbie. Hey, it's funny, though. They were talking about Sheamus on last week's episode, and now Sheamus does have a title match at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah. Well, and it's overseas, right? You got to find a way to get him on the card. That'll be a good match, though.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. So good stuff happening with Kevin Owens. Monday Night Raw as a whole this week, it felt like one thing after another. It was just clicking, and it continued. When we went to commercial break, I'm just sitting there on my phone because you know how it is in between commercials. We're all just browsing Twitter, texting people, yada, yada, yada. I hear the beginning of Rebel Heart, and at first I didn't believe it. I thought I was dreaming. I look on my television screen. Johnny fucking Gargano is back in WWE, and he's on Monday Night Raw, and the crowd seemed like they knew who he was. Like, he got a legitimate pop, and granted, it's Canada. They're smart fans there, but everybody knows how much of a fan I am of Johnny wrestling. This was an amazing moment. I'm so glad he's back. And Tuck, I think we got to take credit for it because we just recently met him, and he got the OTM rub.
A lot of surprises after you meet OTM. I mean, Kevin Owens, surprise at NXT. The day he meets us, Gargano within weeks is popping back up on WWE. I was making dinner and watching on my iPad, and I'm doing my pasta, you know, and his music hits, and I'm just like bopping to it, and I'm like,
So it didn't register with you either.
No, because that song's on the playlist still. It's on the rotation. It's not like you. And so I'm like, oh yeah, Johnny Gargano. Wait, what? That's not how this is supposed to work. Or I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, it was cool.
Came out of nowhere too. It wasn't like Austin Theory came out and was running his mouth and someone had to come shut him up. It was just literally like, welcome back, and it hits. And like you guys said, I'm like this. Wait, what is this song? I know this song. And I was like, oh my God. And because I saw your guys' text and I was trying not to like open it because I knew I started.
I didn't want to spoil. Yeah,
I saw what you said. I saw Tuck's reaction. I said, all right, zip it. Like, I'm watching. And I think it was like 20 minutes, half an hour after that. And I was like, holy shit. We're awesome. Getting
better at not spoiling shit on accident. Like allusions to maybe encourage viewership among us, but it's just like eyeball emojis and woes.
In my defense, this is probably at the top of the list of things that it's going to be very hard for me to spoil. Like, if a title changes, I won't spoil it. But when Johnny Gargano returns, I was so close to just saying Johnny fucking wrestling, but I had to hold back. I wanted to be respectful. And honestly, it was one of my favorite moments in wrestling because like the comment says here from Ryan Matthews, he said, dude, Johnny came out of nowhere. He was so hyped for me. And now he's hyped to get to know him because he wasn't much of an NXT guy. So Tuck, you got to experience Johnny Gargano. Wait, what?
I like that. And Tuck's like, yeah, things like that. We're not spoiling it. You know, we'll just put like eye emojis or say like, let's go. And I was like, no, Kyle definitely said something.
What'd I say?
Your response was, I'm rock hard.
Spot the lie. Spot the lie, people.
That's not a spoiler, by the way. There could be many things.
Yeah, like there's now with this WWE Raw, SmackDown, there's options. Like we could spring at any moment. We could go 6 to midnight. What now? What?
Robbie woke up in shock when he saw that. He couldn't believe. So glad he's back.
It's awesome.
It is.
It's
an
awesome.
moment.
And then when you think about it, sorry, because I was saying this. Sorry, when like you had just, I think, said, Kyle, like a couple weeks before, how he wanted to come back, he wanted to be there, like, or he wanted to be home for a year. And did I say this already? I probably just said this on Monday night. He wanted to be there, like, for his baby. He wanted to be there for the first, like, all that, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't see him back anytime soon. And I think that him coming back Monday night, whether it's immediate return or if that was just like a teaser, a sampler, whatever, I feel like that speaks such volumes of how Triple H takes care of these, I'll say it, kids, especially his NXT kids, that Johnny would trust him to be able to work with him and give him what he needs and what he wants and like have that mutual respect. So I just felt like, to me, it was like even bigger because of that whole like angle to it. So I loved it.
Yeah. And we've talked about Johnny a lot over our 109 episodes, Tuck and I, from his NXT days to his brief stint on the main roster when they had that brief call up with Ciampa. I mean, one of the best baby faces in the past couple years for WWE. And that's a guy that if Vince was still running things, I don't think Johnny Gargano's back. He's probably going off into the indies and just having banger of matches. But now that Triple H is in charge, Shawn Michaels is back running stuff. Road Dogg has even returned. It's all starting to come together. And it's like we're going back to 2017, rebranding the black and gold and turning it into red and blue, Raw and SmackDown. It's a crazy time in WWE right now.
And I feel like it needed to happen. Like it feels right that this is happening, and I feel like it needed to happen. Otherwise, I think we were all just sort of losing patience, interest, love. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a good thing about it too, Tuck, about this return specifically is we didn't hear anything or see any rumors on social media. Mm-hmm. They kept this hush. They popped off, and it was a genuine surprise.
Well, and it takes you back to the old days when Twitter wasn't so, like everything wasn't out of the bag. I mean, you knew when CM Punk was returning at AEW, and it was still special. But what if you bought a ticket to that show without knowing that he was going to show up, and he did, and you loved him? Yeah, so it took me back too, where it was like, I can't believe this is real life. Nothing was on Fightful, nothing was on Twitter. I think Fightful got the news when everybody else did.
How does that even happen?
That's how it should be.
It is. We deserve it.
And no disrespect to those people that like leak that stuff to make money, but I don't get why people want to read raw scripts. I don't know why you want to know what's about to happen. I just like to sit back and watch my wrestling and get a normal reaction. And that's what we got here with Johnny returning. We got a few comments, though, I want to get to here. Robbie asked, so many returns happening, makes you wonder who's next. And a name that popped up, obviously, that seems to be on everyone's mind, Bray Wyatt. Eventually, I could see that happening. You also have Sasha and Naomi still looming out there. But a guy that I think I would like to see now that Triple H and everybody's running the show kind of get revitalized. How about a Robert Roode? How about we get the Glorious One back? Get a little juice behind him. I think he was a star in NXT, and they kind of just botched him when he got to the main roster.
Yeah.
I was only familiar with him in WWE, so he had
same.
Oh, you didn't see the NXT version of him?
No, I got it when I got in. He was already up. Yeah, thought it was a cool.
I love that intro.
Yeah, right. But that wasn't that. I didn't have him with NXT. So
yeah,
Erica, you definitely did. We've talked about that time of NXT. You were around then.
No, I wasn't.
Or maybe you just forgot.
No, I wasn't. Okay. He was nowhere near. I was in NXT when it was like Ricochet was North American champion, like in that scene, and Aleister Black, Ciampa, none of those boys.
This is a good point from Will here with Triple H taking over. He's more happy that the women's roster is getting more of a spotlight. And you can definitely tell it's been a focal point on Monday Night Raw, right?
Well, and it was a strength for NXT too. Yeah. And that's the point that Will's making. It's good. They have a strong women's division. They don't have to hide it kind of like AEW does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've got and with Thunder Rosa, relinquishing, still being the CM Punk injury thing. It's not a strong division, but Will is right.
Yeah, he definitely is. So that was my highlight for Monday Night Raw. Probably a lot of people's highlight, but it was a great show from top to bottom, and it didn't end with the main event. We had Edge versus Damien Priest in Edge's hometown. Match was great. Crowd was hot throughout, but I think that's what stood out to most people, Erica, is at the end when Ripley and Balor were attacking their former mentor Edge, Beth Phoenix stepped in with a chair, kind of getting involved a little bit, getting a little bit of a tease. You think Beth Phoenix now is going to stir things up a little bit?
Talking about you still got it. Beth still got it. Beth never lost it. As soon as I saw her in the crowd, I was like trying not to get my hopes up. And I was like, all right. They're in Canada. She's there. She'll be front row. Okay, of course. And then like once Rhea got involved and Finn, I was like, oh, this is it. And she came out and she helped her man. And yeah, this is not over. And I love it.
I mean, when you talk about
versus Rhea,
I was going to say, when you talk about dream matches for Rhea Ripley, I think Beth Phoenix would probably be in everyone's top 5.
Gotta be, right? And again, you're not getting the same Beth of old, but she still ain't bad. I mean, the Rumble performance from 2 years ago, unforgettable. Got a great run, laid it out, So yeah, that was cool to see. Stand by your man.
And a lot of people were kind of bashing Judgment Day, and I don't think they really gave them enough time to develop as a cohesive group. I kind of like those three together. And it seems like Rhea Ripley has been positioned as like maybe the China of this group, which makes her look like a complete badass.
Absolutely. And I think her look going more dark, and then on top with Finn with his new entrance music, it is kind of like a transition into like, all right, maybe we were this with Edge. Maybe we did seem like three kids just like thrown together, but now like we're like coming into our own.
Yeah, there's substance.
And plus I love Rhea just beating the piss out of Dominic.
Damn, I must have not been paying attention. Edge hit a Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah. And that's what they said. If you told me 10 years ago that Edge would be in Toronto and hitting a Canadian Destroyer, whatever. Yeah.
He's main eventing Raw. I believe he's 48 years old. Just had a A&E documentary that was fantastic. Did you guys get to watch that?
10 out of 10.
I caught a bit of it.
Oh, those things are so good. And Edge, like everybody always says, one of the nicest guys. It's just nice to see him, being a focal point of Monday Night Raw. And now that Cody is injured, he kind of steps into that void of being a top baby face. And then we're going to obviously see that match at the Clash. So very excited for things to come there with the Judgment Day. Vogus is saying Edge also said he wants to retire next year in Toronto. Enjoy him while he's here. Where did he say that?
I'll say it again. You deserve it.
Right on. Robbie says Ripley destroying Dominic gives me so much joy watching wrestling.
And I don't know what it is either. And I know we don't get a lot of like intergender. So like maybe it's that, or maybe it's just her absolute like dominance over this like beta of a man. But
wow, strong.
Yeah, so good stuff there. We obviously still have one Monday Night Raw and SmackDown before we get to Clash at the Castle. Any other things catch your eye at either SmackDown or Monday Night Raw?
Dexter Lumis.
Oh
yeah.
That was kind of the Adam again, a layer, right? Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles were walking through the backstage area. Adam Pearce is with a dude that looks like he's from an electro punk band, and they're like putting out a fire or something, and that was Dexter Lumis. So it pays to pay attention to inconsequential things now because there's Easter eggs all over the place. It's just fun.
Yep. And Dexter Lumis is such a good Easter egg.
He is. He's popping up everywhere because, like Robbie said, seeing Dexter in NXT was good as well. You guys obviously haven't seen it yet, but you might have.
I saw
on
that
social
part.
media.
I saw it on Twitter. Yeah.
He gives her a note, and then he gets arrested, and he kisses Indy Hartwell. It was a nice moment there and a nice
Bonnie and Clyde vibes. He's a bad boy. Yeah,
Do you think he like brings her to the main roster? He kind of just like kidnaps her and is like, all right, we're gonna go wreak havoc over here.
You're with me now. Come on.
Guess what time it is, though, guys? It's Tino's time.
Tino's time.
Is that laughter?
Yeah. I think it is. It's very loud.
But he's dancing to it. Hey, Tino.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be the other one. but
Oh, you hit the wrong button. Well,
It's a good way to describe it, right?
I liked it.
He said such a weird character, but a good weird. Yeah, you got to have those characters on the main roster, but very excited for things to come there. But we're going to get into AEW Dynamite because there is a lot going on, not just on the screen, but behind the scenes. And we're going to hear what people are saying first about the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.
What's everybody saying about the On the Mark podcast?
It's just insane and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
And speaking of punching YouTube talk, the people got to subscribe, right? We're at 129. Let's get those numbers up.
Bro, people, where are we at? You know what's better than 129? 130. I mean, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Let's go. Hit the bell. Ting, ting. Ting, bing. Ting, ting.
Ting, ting.
Ting ting works.
There we go.
There's different kinds of bells out there.
Wait.
What? Did she just
Okay,
freeze?
no.
Oh,
no,
I thought you
no.
froze.
I'm good. I just saw that it was 8:30, so I said, let me just maybe dabble in the queue, and then it said like, I thought things were happening.
Okay, you kind of scared me.
I'm multitasking. Sorry.
We got a critique from Ryan Vogus. Tuck, you're the one that made that video. He said, I feel like you guys should have made that video 7 seconds longer.
I made it as long as the music clip that was sent to me as a free bonus was.
Hey,
long.
What do you mean? Those were real things.
Yeah, those were real comments from real listeners. Duh.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Ryan Matthews, let's please not jump the gun. You know, we got things we got to go down the line here. There's an agenda. We'll get to CM Punk.
Favorite wrestler ever.
Wow. Is that what he said? Oh, I didn't even realize that part of the comment. Yeah, it's kind of surprising, too, because what is he, 19 years old, and he's saying CM Punk is favorite wrestler of all time?
Kind of a dick.
Interesting choice. Interesting choice.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with this. Tuck, you brought it up a little bit earlier. We have a few things on Dynamite we're going to talk about, and this is one of them. AEW's women's champion, Thunder Rosa, had to relinquish that title due to an injury. First off, did either of you see that coming? Because I didn't hear anything about Thunder Rosa being hurt.
No, but I feel like you heard something, Tuck?
No, I was pointing to you.
Oh, yeah. No, I heard nothing. And I even had to like rewind it because I was like, did she say injury? Because she just sort of like
cried.
I don't know if you saw Harry Potter, but it's him doing the flu dust, if you did. I mean, the flu powder. But yeah, she just kind of like garbled it. And then I was like, okay, injury. And I tried to Google it. And all I found was that she's been like dealing with an injury. And I just smelled immediate bullshit. And I was like, that's not true.
Vogus said Thunder Rosa hiding in a stall from Jamie Hayter is hilarious.
I'll say I'm here for all of that juice though, because
oh yeah, there's some stuff behind that, isn't there, with Jamie and Thunder?
And then I think somebody played the clip of like Thunder, whatever the match was, like drop kicking her in the back of the head.
Did Jamie hurt Thunder Rosa? Is that why she's out? Do we know?
But then I saw somebody tweet because of like the sandbagging thing a couple weeks ago and that shirt and this and that, somebody said she's like on the road to becoming like the next like Big Swole and like getting herself like on AEW. I don't know. So it seems to be more like a problematic thing.
There's a number of women that don't like working with her. A number of them say that she works stiff. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa do not like each other, but they're professional wrestlers that do professional things. You know, they're professional around each other, but seems like the vibes against Thunder Rosa. But she said she was like relinquishing the title, but they're doing the interim thing, so the wording was weird too. It doesn't seem like she's gone forever. They're doing an interim title.
It looks
but I don't know how else we could have said it.
The comment section's kind of piecing it together. Tino's Time saying he heard that she got sent home, and apparently Vogus is hearing the same thing. He says the rumor is she isn't hurt at all. She just got sent home for the mega heat that she's getting backstage.
I wonder how soon before that was like addressed. Like, because when she was like crying, like I'd be pissed and I'd go out there and I'd be like, yep, I got hurt. I'm leaving. good luck. Screw you guys. See you when I see you. But it almost like if you told me that like they just had that meeting and they're like, you got to send like you need to cool off, like you need to take a little like breather and reprieve and come back. Like it almost, I would believe it.
Yeah, and apparently Britt and her got into a fight, and that was pre-taped, and she's really not injured. Yeah, so it seems like everybody's on the same page that maybe this is a work of sorts, which is kind of surprising to me, and it kind of isn't, because I know one person, I should say, kind of in the business, and they have spoke on Thunder Rosa as being difficult to deal with. I'm obviously not going to name names here, but that's what I've heard through the grapevine. So the fact that other people are kind of getting frustrated with the way she works, because that's what you were saying, Tuck, right? She was working stiff. That's what people were saying.
Yeah, she's not a joy to work with.
Inmates. Oh, so here's the number one AEW hater, Ryan Bogus. Inmates running the asylum in AEW. You hate to see it. Yeah, the vibe right now in AEW isn't great.
They did have a meeting before Dynamite. They did have a full staff talent meeting before Dynamite. The notes coming out of the meeting were basically trying to structure and shore up the lines of communication. You know, some talent thought Tony was very easy to get to at the beginning, and he was becoming more distant. But Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks said that, I mean, they've kind of opened their doors and tried to reassure people that there's a number of people that they can air their grievances to. And yeah, I think that, are they panicking? I'm not sure, but All Out's in 2 weeks, so we'll see.
Yeah, and we talked about it, I think, in the group chat, or at least one of the group chats that we are in, that I like the card. I just think this build has been once again rushed at the end. We're kind of just throwing pieces together, and it sucks when you have the Punk situation and now this Thunder Rosa thing going on, but they have a solution for it. Like Tuck said, they're once again labeling it an interim champion, which I don't think everything needs to be interim. Why can't they just be AEW Women's Champion? You know, just a brand new champion. But you have
because you're leaving the door open. Yeah, you're leaving the door open for someone that you're labeling as problematic to come back. And even I mean, what if she says "fuck you guys"? Then you drop the interim part, and we just pretend like that never was said.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At Vacant WWE on Twitter is pissed. He's like, "Come on,
I like
AEW, let's go." You know, I respect it. He's like, "I'm here." You know, Vacant is ready. We just got, pull the trigger. Shit.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Actually, I like what Bogus said, because I'll name the competitors we got here in this match that we're seeing it all out. You got Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Toni Storm, and Hikaru Shida. It's going to be a 4-way for the title. And like Bogus said, why not just put both the titles on Jade and end the division?
Yeah. I wonder if someone gets out of that 4-way match and then Jade gets...
How is Jade not a part of that? I know she's TNT champion, but she hasn't lost. How is she not number one in the rankings?
Correct. And seeing Stokely kind of like branch off from her and the baddies, like I like that. Like I like that he's kind of like doing his own thing with like whatever this hodgepodge group he is that he's putting together, but I have the utmost faith in him. So I almost like feel like maybe that says something about like the direction that Jade is going in, that it's not like maybe she could be in the women's like title picture as she should be. Yeah, I don't know. She's just a big one to overlook if that is the case.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this live right now, let us know in the comments who you think is going to win that Fatal 4-Way. We will give our predictions next week, but I'm kind of curious to see where everyone else's head's at, because I think it really comes down to 2 in that match, and we'll talk about it more next week. I won't get into it too much, but Vogus says, if Shida wins, I will boycott for months. I know he's a man of his word. He's a loyal Shida hater.
A loyal hater.
Yeah. Not Jamie hater, because I'm a hater in that way. Just not that one. Anyone else not a fan of the trios thing? It just feels like a little much. I don't know. Tuck, what do you think about the trio stuff?
I have enjoyed it so far. I mean, the amount of titles, I don't know. They're going to be busy, but it gives you a lot of stuff to do on weekly television that feel important. But I've enjoyed the matches. I was shocked last night.
And Ryan Matthews says, give me another Britt Baker championship run. That seems like the safest pick if you're having an interim champion for that title. And obviously they have history if Thunder Rosa's the one to come back, you know, and feud for that title. So I guess that makes the most booking sense. But let's get into
if Tony Storm wins, you've got their tag team. She said, good luck to Tony. You can do something there. Maybe Tony doesn't hate Thunder Rosa. You know, do you want Britt to win it so that you have to do that match between two people that you know don't like each other? That's interesting.
Yeah, that could be dangerous. Tino's Time says the matches have been great, but I feel like Kenny and the Bucks will win it. Yeah, I think that's the overall vibe. We kind of talked about that a couple weeks ago, that it makes the most sense for them to win. I wouldn't be too mad about that, but let's get into a big topic of discussion in professional wrestling going on this week. And it was advertised as the biggest match in the history of AEW between Jon Moxley and CM Punk for the unified AEW title. This match goes on around the 1 hour mark of the show. So at that point, I think everybody was like, all right, something's going to happen here. What are we doing? Because that's the main event.
Okay, main event. Yeah.
And then when we get what we got, Tuck, where there's injury, we don't know if it's a work or a shoot with CM Punk's foot. What was the overall vibe when you saw Jon Moxley win the belts?
I was like kind of shocked. Like, really? Because they also had that comment where they were like, oh, we've got a lot of time until the end of the show here. And then like a minute later, Moxley wins, and you're like, nah, fuck. You know? I was hoping.
And at one point, because at one point it got to be not even close. Like as soon as that happened, like Mox just wiped the floor with him. And even then, when he got the pin, my reaction was just like, what? Holy shit. Like you didn't believe it. Also, loved the fucking bird when he pinned him. And then when I saw my like whatever email, they have that as a shirt. And I was like, if I own one Jon Moxley shirt, it's gonna be that. It just says Mox.
Yeah, right.
And it's him pinning Punk and he's just like flipping the bird. I'm like, incredible. I don't know. And then like the weirdo in me just tries to like piece it together and is like, could they not? Is it real? Like, is it a true injury? Did he come back too soon? Did he re-injure himself? Or is it just a way to not hurt Punk and get somebody else? I don't know.
I did like JR's comment though when they were like, what just happened? And he's like, he just got his ass whipped. That's what happened.
yeah.
I mean, JR's not wrong. That is what happened.
He just got his ass whipped.
It's something that I never saw coming, but honestly, it's one of the more shocking results, I would say, in AEW history. And like Erica said, I'm kind of just confused on what is going on because nobody truly knows unless you're actually backstage or CM Punk or Jon Moxley. Like, there's so much things that we are seeing on social media that are pulling me in other directions. Is it a work? Is it a shoe? I don't really know. I don't think this is the last we see of CM Punk because why would they advertise that CM Punk jersey at the bottom of the screen before the match? Because they said this exclusive jersey is now available until September, yada, yada, yada.
Aren't they, wasn't it like recently also like posted that like him and Mox is the main event at All Out?
I don't think it was made official, Tuck, but was it in the plans from what you were seeing on Fightful?
No comment. Like, I haven't heard anything.
Oh, okay. I thought they said it was in the plans, but we don't really know for sure if that is going to be happening at All Out now. So there's a lot of question marks. There's still one more Dynamite that's going to be happening in Chicago before we get to that pay-per-view. But we have a few more comments here. This one from Will. Remember just a year ago, WWE was having locker room problems, and now it's AEW. This never happened when Cody was there. He's not wrong.
No. And I saw somebody say, like, maybe Cody was, like, kind of the leader, the locker room leader, and just sort of helped bridge that divide between AEW and, like, ex-WWE guys to
and he's
sort
been
of
traditionally not super tight with the Young Bucks and Kenny.
Yeah.
Cody's relationship
I had
with
something else to say.
Kenny and the Young Bucks was pretty professional, so it wasn't. He was a different voice, and then that voice is gone, and all you have is Young Bucks Kenny.
Well, now they're saying that Kenny is like, was it you guys that sent it? That was like he's like addressing the locker room. Some are describing it as tough love. Some others are describing it as like way too harsh. So I just don't feel like what Will said. Like it could have been that Cody was that leader whereas now they have Kenny or Punk, whoever, and that's just like bipolar opposite. Also, before I forget, I thought I saw somebody say maybe Punk didn't want to do the job in Chicago, so that's why it happened last night in
That's
Cleveland.
actually not a bad take, Erica. That could be the case. Ryan Matthews says so much hype for Punk after the Hangman match, only to come back and lose it in the most disappointing match of the year. Man, he is mad. Give me a heel Punk push at All Out interference, please. So, I mean, what is that in reference to, Chuck?
Matthew's attitude right now.
He's a sad boy. He's a sad boy in the comments right now. That's his guy, CM Punk. But it seems like Ryan Vogus agrees. Heel Punk incoming, embrace the heat. And I think that's probably the direction this is going. But it's just still a weird vibe right now in AEW because it's obvious that people don't like CM Punk. So if you're going to put CM Punk in the title match with Moxley again, does he win in Chicago, or are we just keeping him completely off the card? I don't.
Well, then I saw someone, Vogus just reminded me of it. It was a joke, but somebody, I think, but it's interesting that the girl pointed out that Punk got hurt, like twisting his heel. So like he literally like got hurt doing a heel turn. Is that a heel turn? And that's something that I do not put past CM Punk to like have that be the way he goes down, and then he comes back and he's full on like heat-seeking heel. So
who is going to face Moxley then? If it's not CM Punk, Tuck, is there a name that comes to mind for you? Because the title's got to be defended at All
Out. John Silver.
Okay, you're not.
That's all I got.
I was gonna say maybe Hangman.
Yeah. I was gonna say MJF, but I think maybe I'm just being a mark.
I think it's got to be something more like than that.
Yeah, because All Out's, if not their biggest pay-per-view, you got Double or Nothing. You got to make a splash here. And I think
quite the savings on some of those meet and greets compared to Double or Nothing, by the way. Those are cheap.
Those are cheap meet and greets for like $100.
Keith Lee alone was $150 at Double or Nothing.
What is he here?
100 with Swerve.
Yeah, but it still seemed pretty steep.
Oh, gotcha.
Britt Baker was like 175.
They are. Starcast. When you go back and look at some of those Starcast prices, not that bad for some of them. Comparatively, yeah.
We met Johnny for $30, and we talked to him for a couple minutes. You go to these big shots, they're just going to blow right by you. They're going to sign this, take a picture. All right, see you, next person. There's $175.
I touched Wheeler Yuta. I tried to get his attention twice on Sunday. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I touched him.
Logan said he wouldn't pay more than $50 to meet someone unless it's The Undertaker. What about Scarlett Bordeaux? Bogus. Yeah, I think I might have got him on that one.
She's at her own separate tier.
That's true. She's in a class of her own. But yeah, guys, anything else from this CM Punk situation? Jon Moxley winning the belts. How are we feeling?
Kind of weird. Give it time.
Yeah.
I think we're
but not mad that like if it's legit and if it had to be, I'm never in this moment gonna be upset at Mox being champion.
Like I said, I'd be too nervous to meet her. That's fair.
And that says something. Vogus not very shakeable as a human, like pretty solid mentally, like mentally tough. So Moxley in his WWE comments, a little critical. I did listen to the audiobook of Moxley's, which I did not rate highly as Ryan Matthews. It was fine, but he was very critical of WWE in the book as well. He had strong opinions on Vince and the program and kind of the way it ended with him too. He was not shy about it. So
I mean, that's one thing. If you want to take gripe with Vince, that's okay. I feel like you're definitely not alone. But I think to bring it up now that like WWE's kind of like shedding skin and like turning, and now and you know what? They're not a competition for you Monday. No. They're not on Wednesday night. You're not on Monday night. So live and let live. You're not even on the same time on Fridays. So just coexist. Like you still have friends there. If I was working in AEW, I don't think I would ever shit on WWE with all of my or any of my friends still being employed there. I would want them to thrive, and I would want their business overall to thrive so that they can continue to succeed. It's just corny to like who's you're the world champion in AEW and you're still taking shots at WWE. It's just corny. And like you said, he's better than that, he's bigger than that, and doesn't need to like go that low.
Being critical about his run and time and how he was handled in WWE in the book is different than throwing pot shots at an entire roster that he doesn't handle and is not being handled by Vince anymore. Weird.
Yes. It just seemed a random time.
Yeah, it's very weird. And like Erica, you brought it up, but I tweeted it out. He's just bigger than that. John Moxley's a star in his own. The foundation was made in WWE for him to be propelled into the situation where he is the AEW champion. Because without WWE, you could argue he's not here in AEW. So I don't like that. But Ryan Matthews says, L take from Tuck. That book's fire.
He's just happy that he finished a book. That's where his satisfaction is coming from. Read the Young Bucks book.
Back.
Read the Young Bucks book. Read There's Just One. This book significantly better. I mean, come on.
I listened to a couple interviews with Brian Gewirtz. I think he was on the Masked Man show, and then on Busted Open. That guy has quite the experience in WWE.
Yeah, I'm pretty early into it, but it's been a lot of fun because it's a lot of different people. In the stories, not just a certain
things together. Yeah,
correct.
That's pretty cool. This story kind of reminds me of yours, Erica, when we were there last year. You saw him at the gas station. But Robbie said he saw Moxley in a KFC when WWE came to Glasgow. Awesome. That cost me $0, but unfortunately I didn't say hi because I was only walking by.
Yeah, I saw him at a gas station in Hoffman Estates after GCW. And it was after midnight, and he came in looking for beer, and we had beer in our trunk, and that was all that we got out. We're like, we have Takadas or whatever the kind of beer is in the trunk, and like, but these two girls like swarmed him, and he was like pissed off. Then like a few weeks later, like he went into rehab, and I was just like, that story is a little less cool now.
Right. Vogus said KFC underrated, elite side dishes.
Dude, the famous bowls, the mashed potato bowl things. Fire. Their Nashville hot chicken, too, pretty decent. Yeah.
Come on.
Elite side dishes is accurate. Popeyes is great as well. We might have a Popeyes coming down here.
Popeyes.
There we go. I knew you were smart. Popeyes above KFC, right?
Any day.
Let's go.
You go on my Grubhub and you just swipe it like your recent orders is Popeyes. Give me those Cajun fries and the freaking
the biscuits.
The biscuits. I'm trying to think of the sauce. I can't think of the sauce, but it's like the sweet, spicy sauce.
Yeah, sweet and spicy sauce.
Oh my God, so good.
Wait, whoa. Ryan Vogus has never had Popeyes.
Yeah, give it a whirl, dude. Those are
give it a try.
A number of elite side dishes at Popeyes as well.
Get yourself some Cajun fries and a spicy chicken sandwich. Thank me later.
And that was talking chicken. We're going to move on to the main event of AEW Dynamite here to conclude episode 109.
Cluck.
We got to see more trios action with the Death Triangle taking on Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. I mean, this match is what people kind of expected to be a very fun, exciting, fast-paced, athletic type match. We got to see the return of Kip Sabian, who ended up distracting Pac, which led to the win for Ospreay and Aussie Open. And then afterwards, we got Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks coming out, which I believe that match will probably be taking place at All Out. So we're planting seeds here for the trios tag team match. That one will be an absolute banger. But overall thoughts, Eric, on this main event as a whole?
I thought, first of all, I'm glad that I was not the only one distracted by that guy's butt. I even said, why is his butt so huge? Then I go on Twitter today and they're like, that guy in Aussie, was it Aussie Open or whatever the heck?
Yeah.
That with the mustache is built like a Pixar mom. And I was like, thank you, because his ass was enormous. Very distracting. It was incredible. I loved Will Ospreay and I loved the spots between him and Ray Phoenix, whatever. I still call him Ray Phoenix. It was great. I didn't think we would be disappointed, but was it Ryan Matthews that asked or that about the trios? Like,
yeah,
this is why, like, I like the trios titles. Like, I love these matches, and like, why not have more of them? I guess I don't know, but I thought I was surprised that it was going to be the main event, but I'm I love the time that it got, and I think a lot of I don't know.
I think that's what the titles are there for, right, Tuck? It's supposed to be that exciting, you can't stop watching it type of match.
Yeah. And they don't, the trios titles don't have to be defended every week, every show. You just know when the trios titles are defended, the shit's going to hit the fan. Like it's going to pop off. And I think that's a unique way. Like a lot of times with these multi-man matches, to make them cool, you just do a ladder match or you do a gimmick, but you can layer them. The cool thing is the titles. So
and
I'm excited for it.
And it doesn't have to be a weekly thing, a bi-weekly thing. It could just be on like big bi-monthly shows or pay-per-views, and have that be that. And like you said, it's just gonna pop off. And
when does AEW just sack up and sign Will Ospreay? Because every time he's been on screen, fantastic.
Give it to me. Him and Kenny afterwards. Wait, can we talk really quick before I have to zoom to do
Let's talk about the post-show video clip going around. Yeah. You want to go on it?
Kenny thing? Oh no, I was going to talk about Sammy and Eddie before I have to draft my best friend's fantasy team. She's having a day.
Okay, well we'll pivot back to the Ospreay stuff with Kenny. Erica.
And I loved it with the smaller guy, like had him by like, you can't see, but he had him like by the like waist by his legs, like holding him back, like when like Kenny was like talking his shit. Like I fell right into that. I like loved it. And then even like when he like kind of got loose and like Kenny like legitimately like flinched and like got nervous and laughed and like backed up, like I fed into it. I loved it.
I was gonna pivot to the Eddie stuff and then come back to
that. I know, but I wanted to say that too. I had a lot to say.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that.
Just close the book.
Put a pin in that.
I mean, there's really not much else to say. I know Vogus was a big fan of it. He's the one that shared with me the video after they went off air.
That was supposed to be clapping.
Oh, I just got scared shitless. So here's a funny thing. I think Google heard me talking. I thought somebody was in my condo.
What do you mean? What did they say to you?
They just started talking, and I thought somebody broke
Eddie
in.
and Sammy. We got to get the Eddie and Sammy stuff.
No, Eddie, I could probably draft, and it's fine.
No. Let's just hear it right now. So if you haven't heard, there's some shenanigans going on backstage, of course, in AEW with Eddie Kingston and Sammy. Tuck, do you want to briefly go over what you are seeing about this situation?
I'm realizing I could do both. I could do both.
We're here now.
Okay. Eddie Kingston was suspended for 2 weeks. He pie-faced Sammy Guevara. Pie-facing is when you take your hand and forcefully take another man's face and get it away from me. I think it's an equal opportunity
shove him by
move.
the face.
I think a woman by woman pie face is also a thing, but it stemmed from promos. It's like courtesy, etc. Eddie's like, there's some things you don't say about that. Sammy retorted by saying, Eddie apologized. He said, I'm sorry, I should not have done that. Okay, so he apologized, but Sammy's comments were like, a lot of times in promos, you really know what not to say, and Eddie didn't comment that would be a thing not to say. At that time, the Twitter world was giving Eddie some shit about his body. And Sammy commented by saying, if I'm the heel and we're trying to put Eddie over, why wouldn't I stir the pot with a comment that's been rife on Twitter and things like that? So it stemmed from a miscommunication that got a little bit too physical. Sammy knows his place, but he has also been a guy that's been interesting to work with from a number of people like Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky as well. So it's interesting, but we think that AEW is in shambles, but that main event was like, I would take that every week. So like the wrestling's still good. They just got some shit to work on behind the scenes.
So Erica, what do you defend your man here? Go ahead.
Well, because I like what Tuck was saying. I mean, you could go quickly. I mean, you could go after I
don't have anything to say. I don't really care.
But I think that also Lucas Davis, I agree with you. Sam is annoying. He's too much. Like, just get over it a little bit.
Hey, Lucas Davis just subscribed to the YouTube channel, so shout out to you, Lucas.
Nice. When the whole thing with like Punk and Hangman happened, like I think I'm just a mark that like I don't want to work myself into a shoot.
Brother.
And I always like worry that like that's what I'm doing. So I just like take it and I always like keep it in the back of my mind. But like this Sammy and Eddie thing, like as things started to like progress, hang on, I'm next. As things started to progress.
Hey, by the way, Ryan says good luck on the draft, Erica. If you need any fantasy advice, click on the channel.
Well, thank you, I will. I hate, can I just say, atta girl, get him.
Who did you just draft? Middle of a podcast.
Take
Christian McCaffrey.
I got Christian.
Good job, Erica.
Now I have 15 picks. I'm fine. When things started to like to deteriorate, I still kind of thought like it was a work. Then like the Sammy and Eddie thing, and I guess I hadn't realized that I haven't seen Eddie on my television. I haven't been watching Rampage, so I thought maybe he's been there, but I swore I saw him more recent than like a few weeks ago. And then when this all happened, I also think like more than a month ago, I heard Eddie say something like, I just don't like the kid. And that was, I feel like almost in the beginning of like, so more than a month ago, but like, it was like soon after like him and Ty got together. And in the back of my mind, I was like, Eddie kind of feels like a real like loyal ride or die. So maybe that has something to do with it. Like he didn't agree with the way that like that whole thing sort of like came to fruition. And then he was doing a live, I don't know what they're called, but like a live thing where like he signed shit and you can like whatever. And he like made a comment about Sammy there. So I was like, oh, like I like that he still doesn't like Sammy because like now neither do I. But then like hearing like all of this happened and like you said, Tuck, like Sammy to say something that's been said like so freely on Twitter, like whether it was like about the shape that he's in or like whatever, like maybe Eddie like also took it to heart because it's like, what it's like to have people shit on you and your private life and your personal life on social media. Sure. And like, so why would you of all people, like being in the business and understanding it, like also take that shot at me? I don't know. But like I said, on Sunday, Eddie came for some kid super randomly. Like we were all like, what the fuck just happened? Like he like went after this kid, Alec Price. So I don't know if there's something going on with him. I don't know if the two are related. Tony's overloaded.
Yeah, so I wanted to get to a couple of the comments. I had to make sure you got your rant in because I know you love your Eddie.
Thank you.
Lucas Davis is saying Tony is overloaded. He isn't. Vince.
I haven't gotten it in yet, bud.
He has to use the minds around him to keep evaluating the product. He isn't going to get 1 million plus viewers religiously with the current content. And in a way, he's kind of right. I kind of agree with Lucas there. And Vogus said earlier, maybe AEW should script their promos so everyone isn't fist fighting backstage. Could be good advice.
Maybe.
And Ryan Matthews says, notes from this week's show. Tuck listens to good audiobooks in the gym. Kyle has a thing for Johnny Gargano. And Erica's still awesome. And Vogus doesn't eat good chicken.
That's a great takeaway. Yeah.
I really don't have much from, I know I said we were going to go back to the trios thing, Tuck, but...
Oh, wait, let me just say, Sammy Guevara, you're ugly, and do not ever open your mouth about Eddie Kingston ever again in your life. Do not ever. Nobody gives a shit.
The answer isn't to retaliate with insults.
I don't care. You're going to talk shit about his body and his weight. I'm going to talk about your ugly-ass face and your wife that looks like she got smacked in the face with a frying pan.
Come on,
like,
Erica.
Don't even start. What? No. I'm red right now. I'm red.
Very red.
What? Eddie all day. Don't. Just don't. Just don't.
What just happened?
I'm supposed to give a shit that you could do a Spanish fly or that you could do a fucking 450 splash. I don't give a shit. Like, Eddie would, like, put you in the ground.
In the
Be
fucking
better, Sammy.
ground.
Be better. You might have mistreated Pam, but you're not going to mistreat Eddie. Do better.
Not today.
I said what I said.
I feel like I just watched The Undertaker lose his streak. I don't know what to say. I mean, the comment section is Eric Smith. Lucas is crying. Ryan's just hyping you up in the background. I can't think of a better way to end a podcast.
I'm warm.
Than a vintage Marini rant. That is what this show.
Just don't. Fewer things get me more hyped.
Bogus goes off in the comments saying, "Hey, maybe they should script some promos and not let everyone get in fights backstage, unscripted, real and raw." Erica Marini, you know what I'm saying?
See, that shit works. Is she frozen on your screen too?
Very frozen. Very.
Everyone's frozen.
No, she's back.
She's back.
We thought we were going to lose you there, but
Never.
you are back. But we are at that point of the show where we award our most valuable mark. And I know we got a couple new viewers here this week, a new subscriber. So if you don't know what the MVM is, it stands for most valuable mark, like I said, but it is a person that is providing the most quality comments, most active in the chat. They are awarded that sticker right there. You're looking at it on your screen live right now. Jim Tucker flaunting the MVM sticker. You will get shipped that sticker if you win the MVM. And this one's difficult because for a lot of this episode, there are about 9 to 10 people watching live.
Got an idea.
What's that?
Idea if we want to get weird. I mean, there are a number of candidates that would vie for an
I know where you're
MVM.
going. I know where you're
the
going.
comment section still works. If any of them would like to give an argument as to why they are the most valuable mark, I think we could use that. Give them a minute or two. Eric Smith does like stickers. Yeah, I like stickers. You remember the old YouTube video? I like turtles.
I like
turtles. That was Darby.
Like turtles. Kind of was, actually.
Well,
yeah.
I gotta give out this MVM, don't I? You're putting all the pressure on me, right, guys?
I say give them a 30-second countdown from here. We were at 106. 106.30 is when either we call it or someone's going to get it for themselves.
I think we got a comment rolling in. Let's see if anybody can make a case. Robbie Collins says, I'm the most valuable mark because I stay up to 2 a.m. to watch this. Ooh, that's a good case right there. Ryan Vogus, I don't want it for a while. I won't pander to win. Oh, you can tell there's shots there. There's shots there.
Oh, wow.
Let me put more stickers in my picture books. Come on. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger.
Everyone wins.
I am not doing everyone wins.
The trios is at AEW right now. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
has anybody done quads?
Since it is so difficult, I'm going to have the champion's advantage. So we have and still MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, the host of the Pigskin Project, Ryan Matthews. That was the most difficult one I've ever had to do.
Enter Vogus laughing emojis in the chat. There it is. There it is.
I knew it was coming. Yeah. No, he said laugh my ass off.
Yeah, pretty close.
I love the rivalry.
You got to keep it alive. That's what it's all about. But Erica, another exciting week in professional wrestling.
It was great.
2 huge shows coming up next weekend. Any final remarks?
I can't wait. I think I say this every week.
Can you schedule a better Labor Day weekend? You cannot. Clash.
No, you can't.
Ian's birthday weekend too.
The Monday recovery day.
What day is Clash at the Castle?
Clash
Saturday.
will be. That is very hard to say, isn't it? I'm not the only one, right?
Well, I just like that you said it once, so I'm just gonna act
Clash at the Castle,
bitch.
Clash at the Castle. Clash at the Castle. Hang on, your turn. Draft now.
And still, baby, take notes, newbies. Join the army. Vogus is bogus. See you guys during All Out Week.
MVP.
Yeah,
Clash
I will
at
have
the
to
Castle
get a picture.
starts at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's a 10 a.m. kickoff for Tucky. Wake up! I'm clashing with a coffee in the morning watching that show. Kind of pumped.
Might I suggest I found these hard coffees, and they are.
Is it the PBR?
I bought them. I bought them as an impulse buy, and I brought them home, and I'm like this. When is the good time to drink these?
Now.
But now? Yeah.
When Clash?
Handsome.
Those are Clash coffees. That's what they were marking if they're at the Rumble lemonades, which is just a spiked lemonade.
Yeah.
Rumble.
I'm expected to be very hungover for Clash because we have second row seats to GCW Friday night, me and Ian, and we will be celebrating. So that will be a day. At least we're not doing anything, I think, until we go out later Saturday night. But obviously, All Out's on Sunday. So, yeah, Labor Day weekend's going to be electric. I'm very excited. And one more comment. Lucas Davis says that GCW on America is lit.
Thank you. Thank you.
We all have now attended a GCW show, so
we're
kind of in.
It's okay, I think that's all we got. Oh, I bought both nights of Homecoming on Fight. Big GCW people. Look at us.
I've been buying all the shows. Hey,
yeah.
Look at us.
Hey. Look at us.
Here we are.
I got my
Who would've thought?
MDM poker chip. Look at us.
There, look at you. MDK, it said.
It said MDK all fucking day.
Yeah. Well, it's an MDK. Just MDK. Small
All
poker
fucking
chip.
day. You had it.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's been a great time to be a wrestling fan, and still, we had to kind of tap ourselves into believing that at some points in the earlier stages of the podcast.
Correct.
It's still a great time, right? You guys like it here, but I think it really is, and
Better than ever.
The drama keeps it interesting on the AEW side. The matchups being refreshed in WWE keeps it interesting. The wrestling's still good at AEW, and we are just under 2 weeks away from a great wrestling weekend, kind of kicking off the fall wrestling season. It's going to be a great time. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Pot on the Mark. I am on TikTok at Jimmy TikTok, TikTuck, at Too Sweet Kyle on TikTok, and Twitter, Jimmy TikTok. You know it. So make sure you give us the follows and all that jazz, and make sure you tune in next week for the Clash at the Castle and All Out mega preview show that I am not sure that I'll be attending because of cross country.
Okay, so that actually works out from what I was about to say. My thoughts were we bring in a special guest for each predictions. One for Clash, one for All Out. Thoughts?
Sure.
Bogus, I want you in on Clash. You haven't been
And
on
do it Wednesday, and then I could be there, but I can't do it Thursday.
Yeah. Wednesday's
Oh, it's on
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would say let's go head to head, but
whatever, Sue.
All right, now you can send us home, I guess. Go for it.
Until next time, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.